Hello, welcome back. This is ACI 6. We are on class 10. Today we'll be doing chapter 8. Today is 14th of May, 2026. Thank you for the volunteer helping to record this. And nice to see everyone back. Okay, so let's jump in. So just close your eyes, get ready. Bring your attention to your breath until you hear from me again. Now invite you to think about your life, the problems that you're facing in your life. And your negative emotion that is affecting you. And think about how wonderful you'll be if our mind is free of all these negative emotion. We are free from all the problems in our life. How wonderful that would be. And know that what we learn in ACI 6, Dhammakaya Sutra, wisdom, emptiness, it will help us to get rid of all these negativities in our life, to be free from all these negativities, to reach this ultimate happiness. Not just for ourselves, but also for others. And we are so grateful for this beautiful gift, the Dharma that we receive. And there's no payment for the class. And out of gratefulness, we would like to offer the mandala, the offering of a perfect world that we'll help to create. And then we'll follow by taking refuge. Here is the great earth, filled with the smell of the incense, covered with a blanket of flowers, the great mountain, four lands, wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of the Buddha, and I offer to you, by this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamiyatayami. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that we do in giving and the rest. May we reach Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that we do in giving and the rest. May we reach Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that we do in giving and the rest. May we reach Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. May it be so. You come back when you're ready. Hey, good to see everyone back. Today is on class chapter 8, Emptiness and Paradise. Chapter 7, Emptiness and Mental Affliction. We overcome our mental affliction, we reach our paradise. So in this chapter, we want to talk about the paradise and the being that live in it. Or you can say the world and the being that live in the world. Okay, so we completed chapter 7, Emptiness and the Destruction of Mental Affliction. We are on chapter 8, Emptiness and Paradise, Emptiness and Purification. Okay, we continue with the sutra. Can somebody please read this for me, for us?
I can read.
Okay, go ahead, Zain.
The conqueror bespoke, suppose, or Subhuti, that some Bodhisattva were to say, I am working to bring some bring about paradise. This would not be spoken true. Thinking of themselves to have true ultimate existence. Why is this so? Because the one thus gone have stated that this paradise, these lands that are put there do not even exist. And this is why we call them paradise. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the sutra continue with the conqueror, Lord Buddha, asking, if a bodhisattva were to say, I'm making my Buddha paradise. I'm making my Buddha paradise. And if they say that, this is not spoken true. This is not true. Why? If you catch the pattern throughout the ACI 6, every chapter, it's always the same thing. Oh, because they do not exist. Okay? Why they do not exist? Because we are thinking in a self-existent way when we say, I'm making my Buddha paradise. We are thinking that there is a self-existent me making a self-existent paradise. And there is no such thing. Okay? So it's always the same thing, okay? The paradise, they do not exist. They do not exist. I like to put another word just after that now, in order to help myself to understand. When I hear the word, they do not exist, add the word ultimately. Okay? Yeah, for me, then it helped me to understand the way. They do not exist ultimately. It means that they don't have an ultimate existence. They do not have an ultimate existence. They do not have a true existence from their own side, independent of my projection. Okay? They do not have an ultimate existence. They do not have a true existence. And so, nominally speaking, we can call them paradise. So get a hold of that. The whole sutra is always like that. So once you get the hang, then you find, okay, you're not sweating anymore. It's easier to understand. Otherwise, I sweat so much when I learn about this. I would say, what? Really confused me. Okay? So get a hang of that. The pattern of how they are being asked again and again to help us to put a crack in our mind, how we are holding things to have a true existence. How we are holding things to exist truly from their own side, in it, from it, independent of my projection. Okay, you get a hang of that? Good. So we want to go deeper. What do you mean every time, the whole, every chapter, you always talk about the same thing. They do not have an ultimate existence. They do not exist truly. What do you mean by that? Okay, can somebody help me to read this one? Why is this the case? Can you read these two paragraphs? Or you can read the first paragraph first.
I can read. Why is this the case? The reason is that the ones thus gone have stated that these perfect paradise, these places where you achieve your enlightenment, are put there like an illusion. That is, they occur because a great many causes and conditions have come together. But lands which have been put there in an ultimate sense, say the Buddhas, do not even exist. Since though they do exist to that state of mind which performs no check or analysis, we can nominally call them paradise. Thank you.
Good, Jenny. Thank you. So we go deeper and understand what do you mean when you say they do not have an ultimate existence. Okay, here you can see that why they don't have an ultimate existence. Why? Because they occur through many causes and conditions that come together. Many causes and conditions that come together. So they don't have an ultimate existence in it, from it. Okay, you have to cook on that. Last week I threw you this question, isn't it? I go and find for you some information. Okay, so this week we go to the same thing, but go deeper. The second paragraph, can somebody help me to read this?
I can read.
Thank you.
And this fact refers not only to the paradise of a Buddha, but also to each and everything which has ever been put here, to both the world where beings live and the beings who live in the world. All of these are simply a label put on the collection of a number of parts. They are all the same as a house, for example, and all of these are such that should you break them down mentally on the way to their tiniest atoms, you would reach the point where they are nothing at all. That is the briefest sketch of the meaning for you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Emerald. Okay, so again, why when you say, you can say paradise or anything, but in this class we are talking about paradise, right? Okay, anything in our world, any person, any object, any state, any goal, they do not have an ultimate existence because they're simply a label that we put on a collection of parts. Remember, we say they're a label, they are our projection, right? They are a label. We conceptualize and label it, right? And label it. It's a mental label. Until we label it, it does not exist as that for us. Okay? And because they're a label that come from us, they do not have an ultimate existence. Okay, you can cook on that. So last week, I helped you to find some information, right? Remember I say, anything that's dependent on condition, they are empty. Correct? Anything that's dependent on condition, they're empty. They do not have ultimate existence. Why they don't have ultimate existence? Because they're dependent on condition. Correct or not? If they're dependent on condition, how can they have an ultimate existence? We can agree with that, right? Because if they're dependent on something, then they cannot have an ultimate existence. They cannot exist truly on their own. Okay, cook on that. This is a very important one. I help you. I really important one. I go and find for you. Okay. And then also the next one also, I like it very much. You see, okay. Okay. Despite the fact that results do come from causes, they do not come from these causes through any nature of their own. So cook on that. Okay. Sometimes we say, where the pen come from? We say, oh, the pen come from the factory. It's made in China. Causes come from the causes, right? But they do not come from the causes through any nature of their own. Independent of it's the same thing, my projection, my good deeds, my virtue. Correct or not? My good deeds for me to have this pen. On that, wow, I have to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. So I have to learn very, very hard. and I break the ceiling every time I break the ceiling, my own ceiling. So they don't have an ultimate existence. So we keep on hearing the same thing again and again. Yeah. We say things they don't exist. They don't exist in the sense that they don't exist ultimately, in the sense that they don't have an ultimate existence. Why? Because they occur through many causes and conditions that come together. One of the reasons, okay, correct or not? There's so many reasons you can give. Why? Because they are dependent on the conditions. If they're dependent on conditions, then how can they have an ultimate existence on their own? So think about that. Once you get a hang of that, then you find, wow, okay, understand it finally. Okay. Oh, very interesting this class. Okay, so when we say they don't have ultimate existence, doesn't mean that they don't exist at all. Of course, nominally speaking, they do exist. They exist from our projection, right? Yeah. So nominally speaking, we can call them paradise. No problem with that. When we say projection, it's not just simply you can think of anything. The projection is forced upon us by our virtue. Correct or not? By our virtue, you have collected a lot of good deeds, a lot of good merits. So those are the things that come, yeah, and for you to have this projection, the results of your seeds ripening. Okay, the first part, okay, the first part, okay, paradise, Yay. So it's always the same theme again and again, the same theme again and again, the same theme again and again. You can bring that and play a game, at home. You can say, oh, this teddy bear, okay, they don't exist, the one that I'm holding on. They don't have any ultimate existence. Think about that, apply in your own life. Yeah. And then ask yourself, why? Okay, why they don't have an ultimate existence? Yeah. And apply all these things that we talk about. Yeah. They don't have an ultimate existence. They don't have any true existence from their own side, in it, from it. And therefore, I can call them my teddy bear. And so nominally speaking, I can call that my teddy bear. Okay, so the next one will be this one. Just now we talked about, remember I said from beginning, today's class, we talk about the world and the beings that live in the world. So just now I covered the world, means the place. Now I'm talking about the being that live in the place. Can somebody read these?
Okay, I can read.
Thank you.
Oh, Sipati, it is thus. Suppose, for example, that someone's body were to grow this large. Suppose it were to grow as large as the king of all mountains, Mount Sumuru. What do you think, oh Sipati? Would that person's body be large? And Sipati replied, O conqueror, such a body would be large. O you who have gone to bliss, such a body would be large. And why so? Because those gone thus has stated that it could never be a thing at all. And this is why we call it a body. Because those gone thus has stated that it could never be a thing at all, we call it a large body.
Thank you, KL Wong. Okay, so when you read this, it's very confusing, right? So come back to the same thing. They always ask you the same thing. Okay, okay. Now here we're talking about the being there. The being there with this body that is large. So do they exist or not? Okay, you can say yes or no also can. Okay, if you say no, they don't exist. They don't exist ultimately, and therefore we can call that large body, the person's large body. I can say, yes, they exist. Yes. Yeah. How to say it? Sorry. Yes, it is a large body. Why you can call that? Because they don't exist, and therefore I can call that a large body. Okay. So you just think about that. Actually, it's very easy, not that difficult, really. Okay. Catch one thing and then hold on to that. It's always like, oh, they don't exist, and therefore you can call that person's body large. You can call that a large body, nominally speaking. Okay. Okay, now this one, it's the same for everything. Yeah. They don't exist ultimately. They don't have an ultimate existence. The body don't have an ultimate existence. Okay. And therefore, nominally speaking, we can call that a large body. I can call Raymond, can call Jasmine, can call Laura, can call Daniel, okay, and call that a cute face, a kind person, yeah, a tall person. So in conclusion, the world or the place and the beings that live in the world, they have no ultimate existence. So as everything in our world, they do not exist ultimately. They don't have any ultimate existence. Okay, and then just now I give you the bonus. I talk about what do you mean by they don't have an ultimate existence? That one you can go back and cook on that. You really need a lot of time to cook on that. In fact, that one you can take the whole class to talk about that. Okay, those 4 points that we mentioned just now, why they don't have an ultimate existence. Where is that? Where is it? Right, just now we talk about this. So you can take a snapshot and think about it. Okay, they don't have an ultimate existence. Why? Because they occur through many great causes and conditions that come together. They're dependent on that, right? If they're dependent on the causes and conditions, then how can they have an ultimate existence, right? Correct or not? If they're dependent on my label that I put on a collection of parts, then of course they cannot have an ultimate existence. Okay? Then you bingo. Got it. Okay, so that one you need to cook. That one is not like in the class, we don't really have the time to really spend 1 week, one whole session just to talk about this. This thing alone, you need 1 session or 1 week or 1 month to talk about that, to think about that. Okay? So the first part I've covered today. Okay, I achieved my goal. And next one would be this one. Would somebody kind enough to read this one, not the first one, the second paragraph.
Teacher, can I try?
Yeah, please.
Since this is so, says Lord Buddha, Bodhisattva who are working to bring about their paradise should develop their wish for enlightenment without residing in any such state where they hold a belief in some true existence. They should develop their wish without residing in any state where they believe in the ultimate existence of anything at all. They should develop their wish without residing in any state where they hold a belief in some true existence of any object at all, visible form or any of the rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Okay, answer Daniel's question first. Okay, Daniel, you're asking what is a large body, a big body, any description that you can call anything. Okay, tall body, short body, small body, large body. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for this part, they say that a bodhisattva who are working to bring about their paradise should develop their wish without residing in any such state. Okay, so I want to help you to recall what we have learned. In chapter 2, if you still remember, we say, we cannot call a person a bodhisattva if the person is still grasping to things to exist from their own side. Remember or not? We cannot call a person a bodhisattva if they are still thinking that things have some ultimate existence. Correct? Still remember? If they're thinking that things exist truly, then we cannot call them a bodhisattva. Okay? So that means that when we call a person a bodhisattva, that person, the bodhisattva, will be a person who realizes the meaning of no self nature, which means that they do not see things as having ultimate existence. They do not see things as have some ultimate existence from their own side. And I lead you to the chapter 3. And therefore, when a bodhisattva, they do an act of giving, they do an act of giving without staying. Remember, so I'm trying to help you to recall. So a bodhisattva will be someone who do not see things as having some ultimate existence from their own side. That's chapter 2. And therefore, that leads to chapter 3. And therefore, when a bodhisattva, they do an act of giving, they do an act of giving without staying. Remember or not? Without staying means what? Without staying means that? Without staying means without believing. Without believing that me, the one who is doing the giving, have an ultimate existence. The one I'm doing the giving to have an ultimate existence. The thing that's happening have an ultimate existence. They do not, means that they see the emptiness of the three sphere, in other words. Okay, that is the chapter 3, yeah? Okay, so that leads us to same as this one. This is chapter 8, Here, when we say, okay, we apply that, apply the same thing. So when a bodhisattva, they are bringing about their paradise. I like to use the word, they are making their paradise. Okay, can I use the word? Okay, when a bodhisattva, they are making their Buddha paradise, they are doing the act of making their Buddha paradise without staying. Okay, without staying. Without staying means that they do not hold on to any object to have any ultimate existence. They do not hold on to the object or the state or the goal, the thing, to have any ultimate existence, to have any true existence from their own side, in it, from it. Means that they're able to see the emptiness of the three sphere. Okay, now I'm trying to help you to relate, to connect. Okay? Remember chapter 3, we say when a bodhisattva, they do the act of giving, they do the act of giving without staying. So here the same thing. When a bodhisattva, they're making their paradise, they're doing that act of making their paradise without staying. Same thing here. Okay? So you apply the same thing here. Without staying means that without holding on to what? To the thing to have some ultimate existence. Not holding on to any state to have any ultimate existence, not holding on to any object to have any ultimate existence. Okay? Okay or not? Okay. So it comes to the same conclusion that the world and the beings and the paradise and everything have no ultimate existence. Okay. So this is what we are trying to, as we hear this, we are putting a crack to how we are holding on to things to have some ultimate existence from their own side, in it, from it. Even though we say, no, I don't believe that. But when something really terrible happens, something not, something that is not good happen, then there's the way that you realize that how we are grasping to things to have some ultimate existence from, in it, from it. Okay, so we finish part 1. Part 1 just now is part 1 for me. That's how I went. When I have a class, I need to have a clarity in mind, So this is part 1 for me. The first part is gone. This is all part 1. Okay, where we are talk about the paradise and the being in it, okay, and how the bodhisattva, a bodhisattva who is making the paradise, they do the act of making the paradise without staying. This is the key word, without residing in any state, without holding on to any state to have any ultimate existence. We have to put a crack in how our mind think. And thanks for giving me the opportunity. So we go to part 2. Okay, part 2. Okay. Part 2 for me is a boring stuff. Okay, but I try to make it lively. Okay. So if I got a chance, I don't want to study, but because of you, I force myself to study and really think about that. Okay. So 6 things happen at once for Maitreya in Okmin, not Okman. I think there's a spelling error here. Okay. Means what? Maitreya, we know, is the coming Buddha, the next Buddha to come. And Geshe-la say he's closer than we think. He's closer than we think. And this part is talking about the things that is happening, all happening at one time simultaneously when Maitreya get to his paradise. I'm thinking why I want to study that. So for me, actually, I'm not interested, to be very honest. But since it is in the syllabus, let's do it because it's in the homework question 1. Okay. If I'm a student, I will just skip that. Okay, forget about that. When I become a Buddha, I will know this thing will happen. I don't need to study. For me, I'm the naughty type. Okay. Okay. 6 things happen. So what is the thing that happened? Number 1. He is the bodhisattva. Sorry, we know that he's a bodhisattva, a high-level bodhisattva. And then, let me see the answer. Okay, this one. Directly go to the homework question 1. Describe the way in which the bodhisattva Maitreya is said to reach his enlightenment. 6 different things happen simultaneously at the very instant when Maitreya or any other being means me reach enlightenment in their paradise. Okay. And Maitreya's paradise is called Okmin, O-K-M-I-N, Okmin, the heaven below none. We have heard this before, heaven below none. Okay. So A, what happened? Number 1, he perceived everything, all the things in the whole universe, all knowable things. Okay, he perceived everything, past, present, and future, everything. Okay, very easy. He perceived everything. We know he's omniscient. Of course, he perceived everything, right? So the first one is he perceived the total amount of things. Okay, understand. Okay, good. Okay, next one. What happened is he achieved the end of aging and death. Of course, he's already going to be Buddha. Of course, no more aging and death. Okay, I can understand that. Okay, he achieved the absolute end of aging and what? And death. Okay, I understand, no problem. And then C, he achieved the Dharma body. He bring forth his Dhammakaya. Okay, he bring forth his Dhammakaya, the emptiness of the other 3 bodies. Okay, so he got this Dharma body. Okay, we can understand that because here we learn early on we have learned the 4 bodies of the Buddha, right? They have the physical body, the Rupakaya, and they have the mental body, the Dhammakaya. Okay, so he have the Dharma body. Okay, fine. All right, I can understand that. Okay, he got the Dharma body. Okay, that's a C, Dharma body. Next one, what he do? He perceived everything in its conventional nature and in its ultimate nature. Means he can see the ultimate reality. Okay, that one we can understand why. Because only a Buddha can see the conventional reality and the ultimate reality. Okay, so that he can see the ultimate reality at the same time. Okay, so for me, I like to put here quality. So A will be he see the quantity, A he see the quality for me. Okay, that's how I understand that. Okay, so he see the enlightenment towards all objects. He see the ultimate reality as well, the conventional nature and the ultimate nature. E, he achieved his paradise body. Okay, I can understand that. He achieved the paradise body. We know they got 4 bodies, right? Okay, I can understand that. And then he achieved the emanation, the cause for the emanation, the cause for the infinite emanation body that will begin the next moment after that. The next moment after that, he can send many, many copies to you, okay, to become anything, okay, anywhere, anytime, to help us, to bring us up. So these are the 6 things that happen, okay, at once when Maitreya, he get to his paradise, Okmin, O-K-M-I-N, Okmin. He see everything, total amount of things. He reached this absolute end of aging and death. He bring forth his Dharma body. He perceived the enlightenment towards all objects. Means that he also perceived not only the conventional nature, but also the ultimate nature of all things. He achieved his paradise body, and he achieved the cause for his emanation body. Okay, fine. Okay. All right, so this is your homework question 1. Okay, so we won't go into detail because no point we go into detail. First of all, I'm not a Buddha, okay? No matter how I explain, okay, that won't be correct. So there's a second explanation. Kashila give a second explanation, but it's not in your homework. Another description of how Maitreya get to his paradise. Okay, let's go just read through here. Number 1. He is the bodhisattva at the final moment of samsara. Okay, number 1. Okay, of course lah, he's from samsara going to become a Buddha. Okay, it's his final moment. 2, he's staying in Ganden. Ganden is a heaven of bliss. In Sanskrit, it's called Tushita. If you heard Tushita, sometimes you heard before, Tushita heaven. That is a Sanskrit name for Ganden. Number 3, and then he lived an emanation of himself in Ganden paradise. I don't understand. Okay, number 4. And then he make manifest his Dhammakaya mind and his Dhammakaya. Number 4, he make manifest his Dhammakaya mind and his Dhammakaya. Why I emphasize the difference? There's a shift in the reality. The instant the mind is free of the obstacles to omniscience is the instant the Dhammakaya exists. Okay, it's not something like 10%, 20%, okay? The instant this mind is free of the obstacles to omniscience, that is the instant your Dhammakaya exists. Okay? So you bring forth your Dhammakaya mind and your Dhammakaya, which is the emptiness of the 3 bodies. Number 5, he re-entered the emanation he left at Ganden just now, and then he entered his mother's womb. So he get his Nimanakaya, his emanation body. And then he act out the other 11 deeds of a Buddha. They say the Buddha got 12 deeds. They act out the 12 deeds. What are the 12 deeds? They manifest to be born. They manifest to get dissatisfied in their life. They manifest of living the home life. They manifest that they are following a spiritual path that is mistaken. They manifest that they are finding the right path and so forth. Okay, so there are 12 deeds. The Buddha act out. They try to act out and show us how to get out of suffering, to wake up and get out of suffering. Okay, so this is not in the homework. This is another description of how Maitreya get to his paradise. So let's look at this one. This is interesting. Now is the interesting part. Okay, you can wake up already. Why isn't Okmin suffering? Why isn't Okmin suffering? We say Okmin is a paradise, isn't it? Maitreya's paradise. Why isn't Okmin suffering? Why isn't that place suffering? So I like to compare to where I am. Where am I? I'm in samsara. So let's compare to samsara. So I go and dig. What is the definition of samsara? The condition of being forced through the power of karma and mental afflictions to to take on the impure parts that make up a suffering being over and over again. So compared to Okmin, the paradise, why isn't Okmin suffering? Because, you want to guess? Ta-da! We know, isn't it? You can guess from here, isn't it? Because they don't have karma, the negative karma, and they don't have mental afflictions. Okay, they don't have this pair of karma and mental afflictions that keep on producing suffering on a constant basis. Right? Because I'm in samsara. Oh, so I have this condition I've taken. This condition that I've taken is suffering. This, I am samsara. Samsara is not somewhere else. It's not other people. I am samsara. The condition I've taken is a samsara. Okay. To recognize that is a wake-up call for me. Okay. We think elsewhere is samsara. Okay. I am not samsara. Okay. I'm trying to get out of this place. No, this condition that I'm having right now, these parts that I'm having is broken. The impure parts that I have taken. Okay. That come from my impure karma, the negative karma, and my mental affliction. These are the two things that keep on producing, dish out the suffering on a constant basis. So compared to Okmin, the paradise, okay, that place, Okmin, the paradise, they don't have. Why they don't have suffering? Because they don't have karma, this negative karma, and they don't have mental afflictions. Okay, so I go and dig this for you all, okay, so that when we think about that, then it's easier for us to understand. So this is in your homework question 2. So why doesn't the truth of suffering exist in a Buddha paradise? Because there are no negative karma, there are no mental afflictions to drive, to produce the suffering on a constant basis. Like right now, keep on dish. Okay. After a while, even we have everything, also sometimes we are not happy, isn't it? After a while, we are not happy. Okay. We need something else. Yeah. And then, or else we feel dissatisfied, disappointed, anxiety, worry, not feeling well, sick, aging, things not happening the way we want, not getting the thing that we want. Okay. So long if we are in samsara, regardless of where we are, you can be on the beach, okay. You can be at a beautiful place, okay. You can be at the office, at home, wherever you are. So long we are in samsara, we will have suffering, the same suffering, different type, but suffering. And this is in our question 2. And we know that the karma, the negative karma that we have collected will cause us to suffer, right? Cause our suffering now. And we know that the present mental affliction that we have will cause us to do something bad, okay? Because of the mental affliction, it kind of like triggers us. We want to do something bad. We want to yell back, do something bad. And therefore we collect the karma, the negative karma that will cause us to suffer in the future. Okay, and we learned that mental affliction is anything that disturb our mind last week. Okay, we say mental affliction is anything that ruin your peace of mind. It's a mental affliction. Okay. Every one of us have our own team Okay, so you have to find out your own team and tackle that enemy. Okay, we have 84,000 and boil down to 6, the main one. Okay, so mental affliction, they cause us that we want to do something that we want to do, you know, and because of the something that we do, our reaction, that reaction causes us to collect negative karma that will cause us to suffer in the future. Okay. The mental affliction causes us to react in a certain way. Why we react? Because we want to get something or we want to avoid something. Okay, the egg-worthy thoughts. We want to get something or want to avoid something, and we are willing to do something which is not kind or bad, and as a result of that, we collect the karma, and that will bring us future suffering. Okay, negative karma that we have done in the past, negative karma that we have collected, they bring us suffering. Okay. Why we are suffering? Not because of the negative karma that we have collected in the past. So that means that we have to get rid, we want to get rid of mental affliction and get rid of our negative karma. Correct? Now we get rid of these two, then that means we will create our paradise. Just now we compare the mean and the place I am, right? So if I get rid of this one, I will be in paradise. This is mean. This is where I am. So if I get rid of this karma, negative karma, and this mental affliction, I will be in paradise. So let's talk about this. How can I get rid of the karma and the mental affliction? How can I get rid of my karma? The karma that I've already collected, I've already done. What can I do? If I already collected the karma, what can I do? We can do purification, isn't it? We can do the 4-power purification to purify, to damage the seeds. Okay, so we are going to do the 4-power. So talk about the first one, karma first, the negative karma, the bad karma that I've collected already. Then how? I already collected, already done. Do the 4-power to clean that out. Okay. This 4-power is the source come from the Sutra on the 4 practices as taught by Lord Buddha. So we are going to go through the 4-power now. Okay, this is in your question 3. So 4 powers. First is the force of foundation. The force of foundation, or we call the basis. Basis. What do you mean by the basis? Means that you recall your refuge. Recall your refuge and your bodhicitta. What do you mean by recall my refuge and my bodhicitta? Bodhicitta is your wish, right? Your intention that I want to become a Buddha for the sake of all beings. I want to reach this state of total enlightenment for the sake of all beings. That is your intention. So you recall your intention, and then refuge, you recall the emptiness, right? We recall your intention, we recall the emptiness, and to live your life according to karma and emptiness. Okay, you go back to your intention that I want to reach this state free of all suffering, this state of total enlightenment for myself and for others. And so recall back your intention and recall your refuge. So bring your how to say, return to your intention, go back to your intention and the understanding of emptiness, to live your life according to karma and emptiness. which means to keep our morality, our sila. Okay, next one will be B, the force of destruction. The force of destruction, from the name you know already. Wow, destroy. So it's very powerful, isn't it? The force of destruction is the intelligent regret of an educated Buddhist. They call it an intelligent regret of an educated Buddhist. Means that you regret, but you don't beat yourself up. You don't feel guilty. You regret. You regret. Why you regret? Because you know. Just like I say, you recall emptiness, isn't it? You recall emptiness means that you know what you have done is going to come back and hurt yourself. Nobody but yourself. And so you regret. You regret, I shouldn't have done that. I really regret if given a chance, I don't want to do that. So that is called the intelligent regret of an educated Buddhist. You don't beat yourself up. You don't feel guilty. And the next one is the force of restraint. The force of restraint is very important. Without the force of restraint, your four power is not complete. In the sense that you cannot say that I want to do purification and then you go and do again. Correct or not? I do purification and then tomorrow you do again. Correct or not? That doesn't make sense. It's not going to help. So restraint means that you are going to promise that I'm not going to do it again, and give yourself the time frame that you can commit, because you don't want to commit to something that you are going to break. That is very bad karma, correct or not? So you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to, for example, if you have been speaking very harshly to somebody, you feel very bad, right? I shouldn't have said those words, that hurt him. So you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to speak kindly for the next 15 minutes, something like that. Yeah. Give yourself the time frame that you can commit. It's okay, 15 minutes. Yeah. Don't say that, oh, must commit that forever. Don't ever say that, okay? And then the next moment somebody step on your toe, then you become like a tiger. Okay. So try to commit to a small time frame that you can still be aware that you are doing this restraint. Especially things like speech, especially to do with speech. I find that like if you say killing, that one is easy, isn't it? I'm not going to kill anybody, right? Yeah, right. But if those to do with speech, I think have to be extra careful, like lying, speaking harshly, speaking in words that in a way that you split people. Sometimes I mean our habitual action, the auto mode, the habitual action is we have to be very careful with that. So give yourself the time frame that you can commit. And lastly will be the force of antidote. Means a makeup activity. You're going to do a makeup activity. For example, just like I said, if I speak harshly, so if I go and do a makeup activity, that will be the opposite. I'm going to speak kindly to everyone, okay, in the office, for the next, something like that, for the next maybe, for the next 15 minutes or half an hour, things like that, makeup action. Yeah. I'm going to speak kindly to my mom when I go back, things like that, Yeah. So doing something opposite to what you are trying to apply antidote to. And of course, the highest one they say the highest antidote is the study of emptiness. Studying emptiness with the bodhicitta is the highest antidote. And ECI 6 is on the subject matter is emptiness, so you can use this as your antidote. If you have something, take advantage of that. Okay, tell yourself, okay, this is every week I'm going to come for the class ACI 6, and that is the antidote for blah blah blah. Okay, so I think that is since you're going to come for the class, why don't you use that as an antidote for something that you want to purify? Okay, these are the 4 powers. This is ABCD, right? Can it be in a different order? Yes or no? Can it be in a different order? You want to type in the chat 1 or 0. 1 means yes. 0 means no. Can it be in a different order? What do you think? Everybody say no. Lin say yes. Because Lin is an advanced practitioner. Okay, Emma say no. Okay, I heard from my teacher. She said can be in any other order. It can be in a different order, and that is fine. So long you have the 4 elements here, the 4 power, okay, it can be in a different order. And I can truly understand that because I remember when I first learned about the 4 power, as I was doing that, okay, I actually have a different order. And I was struggling with that also. And then only I realized, oh, finally, only I know you can be in a different order. Okay, it can be like you have a regret, you know, because you understand emptiness, you have a regret, and then you go back to the basis. Okay, it can be that way. Yeah. And I can have applied the antidote and then restrain myself. It can be in a different order. Okay. And then the antidote, some of the antidote that we have learned previously in ACI 5, chapter 4. Some other antidote here, if you're interested, you can take note. But for this class, the highest antidote we say is a study on emptiness. Okay, so question 4. The Diamond Cutter Sutra says that a person who reads or studies this sutra will suffer intensely. You are very lucky. I told you from day 1, from class 1. Okay, I didn't cheat. I didn't lie to you. Okay, I tell you from day 1. Okay, okay. But when I was a student that time, I wasn't aware of halfway through only I know that he was suffer intensely. What? I don't want to study. Why you don't tell me early? Tell her I don't want to study. Okay. Okay, so I told you from day 1. Okay, they say when you study the Diamond Cutter Sutra, you will suffer intensely. So what? Then why am I in this class? I don't want to come to this class if I know I don't want to come. Okay, I've been tricked to come. Why is it so? Because the study of emptiness, the study of Dhammakata Sutra is so powerful. So powerful that they stir. They stir, stir. You stir, you make a drink, you stir. You stir the negative karma at the deeper level in your pocket and they rise up. Okay, you stir this negative karma for them to come up. They come up and they ripen earlier. They ripen earlier in a smaller way. In fact, they say they ripen earlier in a smaller way, no more than a headache. It is mentioned in the Diamond Cutter Sutra, okay? When I first heard of that, I don't believe, Okay, I said, wait, who said that? Who said that? Okay, so it is mentioned in the Diamond Cutter Sutra, really, okay? And I had that experience before. There was a time that I did a lot on the 4 power, and I normally don't have headache many years ago. And then I suddenly got a very severe headache, so severe, never in my whole life, and then for no reason, and it just recover on its own. So I see that as a purification. Yeah. So they stir those negative karma that we have at the bottom level, at the deeper level, and cause them to rise up and force them to ripen earlier quickly, in a smaller way in this life. And it can be no more than a headache. And it's better in the sense that if you just leave the negative karma there, it could have take you to the 3 lower realm. It could be in your next life, you could just fall into the 3 lower realm. Okay, so they say better than a lifetime in hell. Better than a lifetime in hell. Okay, and a friend of mine, he studied this and then he also got a very, very serious health problem. He got a very serious health problem, very life-threatening health issue. And then later on, he told me that, oh, I'm so happy, Oh, better than a lifetime of hell, you see. Yeah. Okay. So right now, I also have some health issues. So I want to look at it in a positive light, It's a purification. Better than a lifetime in hell. Okay, so when you succeed in doing the purification, where is it? You clean out this negative karma and you also get closer to enlightenment. That is logic. That's easy for us to understand, right? So purify. Last time, I used to do a lot of purification. Then at one time I stopped. There are a lot of people because they do a lot of just planting seeds. But I always have a tendency, I prefer to do the purification. And now I want to go back to do a lot of purification because I now know why I have to do that. And I'm very certain why I have to do that. I'm very happy to do that and want to do that. The Chinese word, we call it 净化你的心, okay? Purification of your mind, your negativities. And I go and if you still remember, I did mention about this one, something very important I want to emphasize again. This is in class 1. Okay. Okay. This one, I'll read the last paragraph. It doesn't matter how much karma you have accumulated in the past, how much negative karma that you have accumulated in the past, without the state of negative emotion to support it, this karma will have no power to produce its expected result. Don't underestimate this sentence, okay? Cook and think about that. Okay, we think about how they relate. Okay, the study of Dharmakata Sutra is a study of emptiness, right? When we study emptiness, we study this emptiness, they purify our negative karma. Okay, the negative karma, without this mental affliction, their companion, they call it, without their companion mental affliction to support it, this karma cannot produce its expected result. Maybe they come out, finish. Think about that, the relationship on that. That one need a lot of cooking. And I mentioned many times that I said, if you understand emptiness, it's impossible to have mental affliction. And if you have mental affliction, means that you don't understand emptiness because they cannot coexist. Remember I mentioned that? So the study of emptiness, okay, is a way for you to get rid of your mental affliction. When you don't have this mental affliction, the companion of mental affliction to support it, then this negative karma cannot produce its expected results. And to bring you further to that, if you remember our last class, we talked about direct perception emptiness and we lead from there, isn't it? Right now, when we see emptiness directly at path number 3, coming out of that, means that we are at path 4, path of habituation. You habituate your mind. It means that you habituate your mind means you get used to what you see. You get used to what you've experienced in the direct perception of emptiness. And the subsequent wisdom. Remember the 4 area truth, the realization. See? So you habituate your mind to what you have experienced in the direct perception of emptiness and the subsequent wisdom that you gain. And along the way in path number 4, you get rid of your negative emotion. You get rid of your mental affliction. Correct or not? You still see the things as coming at you, but you don't believe it. You still see the thing as coming at you, but you don't believe they have an ultimate existence. So studying of emptiness is the only way how you can get rid of your mental affliction. Okay? So I'm trying to connect the dot for you. So from path 3, we have finished. We are moving into path 4. Path of habituation. The mind habituate, get used to what you have experienced in the direct perception of emptiness. And the subsequent wisdom that you gain, the 4 area truth, the realization, the insight, then you get used to that. Then you rip off the mental affliction one by one, rip off. Okay. Understanding of emptiness, you understand emptiness, the mental affliction cannot arise. And when if you have mental affliction, means that you forget your emptiness. And question 5, which of the 4 force is especially related to the subject matter of the Diamond Cutter Sutra? We know force number 4, right? The makeup activity, the power of the antidote. Okay. Why? The power of antidote, we say the highest, what do you call this? Highest form of applying an antidote is the study of emptiness. Is the study of emptiness. And Diamond Cutter Sutra, the subject matter is emptiness. Perhaps somebody can help me to read from here. The last paragraph, if you are able. Can somebody read if you are able?
Okay, I'll read Teacher Rich, I Sue here. Just the last
Thank you,
paragraph,
I see.
right?
Yes.
If you are able to eliminate grasping to some self-nature, then none of the karmas you have collected, regardless of how many they are, can ever ripen forth. This is because their companion, the mental afflictions, are absent. As the commentary on valid perception states, no further karma can ever project their result in one who has gone beyond the desired for existence. This is because the conditions have all been finished.
Thank you, I see. Okay, so I want to come back to this one. Why isn't Okming suffering? I compare to the world I am in, and the difference I can see is if I can get rid of the karma and the mental afflictions, then I would be in Okmin. I would be in Okmin. Okay, so now we want to talk about how to get rid of my negative karma and my mental affliction. Okay, so for negative karma, we say, okay, negative karma that I've already done, then how? We can do the 4 power to purify our negative karma. Okay, and the highest antidote would be the study of emptiness. And the study of emptiness is also the way how we can get rid of our mental afflictions. Because we say they cannot coexist. We understand emptiness, impossible for you to have mental affliction. And the moment you have mental affliction means that you don't understand emptiness. And one very good example would be class 7. If you remember the king of Kalinga, the class 7, king of Kalinga, where Buddha in one of the life before he become a Buddha, as his arm and the limbs, the toes and the fingers being cut off, he has no conception. You do remember or not? Let me show you. I'll go and find for you. He has no conception. When you say no conception,
It's not that there's no conception at all. See, there's no conception of a self, means that there's no conception of a self, means that you're not holding on to him, me being hurt, the king who is hurting me, and the whole situation that's happening to have an ultimate existence. See the word, very important. When you have no conception of me who is being hurt, the king who is hurting me, and the whole situation that's happening to have any ultimate existence. Remember, come back to the beginning. They don't have any ultimate existence. They have no conception that they have any ultimate existence. The moment you have a conception of that they have some ultimate existence, then you will have mental affliction already. The thought to harm someone would come. The moment you have a conception that they have an ultimate existence, that means the king have some ultimate existence from his side, in it, from him, doing this to me, then the thought to harm someone will arise. You will have a mental affliction. You will start to have mental affliction. Okay? So I try to put the pieces and help you to understand. When I say that there's no conception, means that they have no conception of the thing to have an ultimate existence in it, from it, independent of me, nothing to do with me. They have some nature from their own side, in it, from it. They have some true existence from their own side. Okay? The moment you have that kind of conception, you will start to have mental affliction attack. You will start to want to harm somebody. And at the same time, I highlight here, this you can see my pointer. It's not that there's no conception at all. Of course, it's not that you're not thinking, correct or not, right? So when I first read about that one, I get very confused, When they say no conception, okay? It's not that he has no conception at all. He actually got some conception in the sense that he has the thought that, he has this thought that he has to be patient. He has the thought that he has to take the pain willingly. Okay? Why? Because he has he know that this whole thing that is happening, him is being hurt, the king who is hurting him, and the whole thing that's happening is blank, is empty. They do not have any ultimate existence. Empty of what? Empty of not coming from the projection forced upon him. Empty of what? Empty of the projection forced upon him from his past karma of doing something that hurt others. So he know that this is coming from his past deeds ripening now. Okay? Can you see the connection from last week to this week? I'm trying to help you to bring the connection, the pieces together. So the king of Kalinga is a very, very good example how we can get rid of our the karma already ripened, okay? The negative karma already ripened right now in this situation, the suffering right now, correct or not? But the mental affliction is the one that if you have conception, if you're holding on to the king or to the king hurting me, to have some ultimate existence, then you will start to have mental affliction attack. You want to harm him back. You want to kill him back. You want to yell at him. You want to take revenge. You hate him. Correct or not? You have anger. You want to take revenge. You want to kill him back. So he have no conception. When you say no conception, means that you have no conception of a self, no conception of a self, no conception that they have some ultimate existence. But doesn't mean that there is no conception at all. Of course, we are thinking, correct or not? What kind of conception he has? He has a conception that he has to keep his patience, he has to take on the pain willingly. Of course, he has the conception that the whole thing that's happening is empty. And they're empty of what? Empty of not coming from his own projection of having hurt someone in the past, now ripening as the result. And so he's willing to take the pain willingly. And with that wisdom, he don't want to react negatively. If he react negatively, he will collect the karma for him to experience future suffering. Remember the mental affliction? Okay. The moment you have this mental affliction, you want to hurt somebody, and then you collect the karma for you to have a future suffering. So the king of Kalinka, the last way, is a very good example that shows us how we can, in that situation, how should we act? How should we act? Not react. How should we act with wisdom? I love this subject so much on the karma and mental affliction. You need to cook because I cook for a long time, for a very, very long time, to see the connection. They are so slippery, Yeah, you have to bring that to your meditation and to your own life experience and the king of Kalinka and to those notes that we have go through, see how they put together, and that will help you to understand better. And of course, help us to apply in our life better. Okay, so I leave you with that, okay? And I have 2 more things to cover before we finish. A little bit more. Okay, so we finished the important part. So we move to the last 2. Anybody want to read this one?
I can read.
Thanks,
And
Ling.
if this is so, then there is no need to say that any person who takes up this particular presentation of the Dharma, or who holds it, or who reads it, or who comprehends it, or who thinks of it in the proper way, thereby becomes someone who is truly wondrous. And this is because we can then say that the teacher himself is in that place, as is every other spiritual teacher who has ever lived. Thank you.
Thank you, Zane. So this is the one. Yes. You are truly wondrous. We are all truly wondrous. Yay! Okay. And we are here. I can't believe that I'm sharing this. Okay. You are truly wondrous because they say as we are learning this Dhammapada Sutra, we are reading it, we are having this presentation, then Lord Buddha, the teacher, is in that place, as is every other spiritual teacher who has ever lived. Okay, next one would be the last one. I need somebody to help to read only this one, not the whole thing, only this one. Is there anybody who want to read only this one?
I can read, teacher. And I say to you further, O Subhuti, any place where even just a single verse or 4 lines
Please, thanks.
from this particular presentation of the Dharma is read out loud or has ever been read out loud, thereby becomes a temple. It becomes a place where the entire world, along with its gods and men and demigods, can come and pay them honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Is this the one that I should read?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, this will be good enough. Okay, so the place where the Diamond Cutter Sutra is read become a stupa, become a temple, become a place that is worthy of offerings, worthy of people to come and pay honor, to prostrate, to circumambulations. Why? Because this place is so holy, it's a holy ground, because a group of people, they attain something so close to understanding emptiness. So we are now in Zoom. So all the place at your house, okay, become some holy place. Yay, isn't it great wherever you are? All of us have something, okay? We all get something. And let me look at this. What is our meditation? Okay, so do the meditation prelim and then meditate 15 minutes on why someone studying this sutra might suffer. That's it. Let me see. Did I miss out anything? Give me a minute. Let me see. No, they are covered nicely. Okay. Let's do a dedication. So invite you to close your eyes. And be very, very happy yourself that you're here. We can recall our intention at the beginning of the class. How what we are going to learn, or what we have learned, or what we are going to learn will help us. How are they going to help us? We just learned that the study of emptiness is the highest antidote to purify our negative karma. And the study of emptiness is the way for us to get rid of our mental afflictions. They are causing us to suffer and to continue to suffer. And so we want to break free from this. Not only for ourselves, and we can go on to show others how they can do the same. So it's such a powerful things that we have done. So be very happy. And we want to dedicate these to others, to share these merits by the power of the goodness that we have just done. We all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. And use 3 long exhale to send out all this beautiful light to whoever, wherever, everywhere, everyone, every part of the universe. Touching them with this beautiful light. Now bring your mind back to the space here. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, we can stop the recording. Thank you, volunteer.